Greetings, goddesses. Welcome to week 2 of the Path to the Goddess. And this week I'm going to share a message from the goddess, which I even forgot I wrote. I was there looking through all my notes because this was in February when I was painting the goddess and I received all these downloads. And I was looking for them thinking, where are they? And I came across this other message. So I'm just going to go straight into it. It's called Let There Be Light. In the beginning was the goddess. She was as dark as the night sky. In her womb, the primordial waters of creation rested, waiting to be activated. The water was programmable, so she spoke to the water and commanded, "Let there be light." And there was light. She was so pleased with her first creation that the goddess created more lights to illuminate the night sky. Yes, she adorned herself with all these lights. The goddess wanted to bear children, so she summoned her male counterpart, Ra, and commanded him to lay with her. He willingly obeyed. 9 months later, she gave birth to her offspring, an infinite number of little lights which had been growing in her womb since she first commanded it. There were so many of them, and she was pleased to see that they looked just like her, just smaller in quantity. She wanted them to experience themselves as the light, so she created the earth in a lower dimension. They would have to experience immense darkness for them to be able to experience themselves as the light. But she trusted that they would remember who they are, the light. She sent them on their way to begin their journey of self-discovery. Many of them went from one lifetime to another, not remembering who they are. Those who kept forgetting were sent back down again after they left their body to go through the whole process again. Each time a soul incarnated in the flesh, it wasn't a fresh beginning, it was a continuation of their past life without them remembering. And then she says, "I didn't create him imperfect. It was a genetic mishap that happened long after my original creations. My adversary decided to corrupt my creations by experimenting with the building blocks of life, your DNA, and changing your structure at a cellular level. Some of you lost the thing that makes you most like me, melanin, but it wasn't my doing." So then I asked, "Why weren't you able to stop it from happening? That's what everybody wants to know." She replied, "Because when I created you with a free will to choose which end of the polarity you chose to reside in. The opposites were only created so that you could identify one from another. They had to be cold so you could experience hot. They had to be up in order for you to experience down, etc. This is just one of the laws that was put in place to keep everything in order." So I reply, "That makes sense. But why create it so it had to be that way? Why not just create all good? Then we would never have had to experience bad." So she says, "That's true, but you would have got bored in that utopia. The tests and trials help your soul to evolve, and that's why you entered the third dimension in the first place, to evolve your soul. The game is to get to the point where you're so evolved you no longer need to keep reincarnating. The third dimension is like a prison. Your soul is so big and it has to fit into a tiny little body. It's so restrictive, but that's so you don't get too comfortable in it and forget your mission. But alas, many of you, my children, have forgotten why you incarnated into a body. It's not your fault. All the tools I gave to keep you on track on your journey in life were locked away and hidden. Your natal chart is your first port of call, so to speak. It's a snapshot of where all the planets were placed at the exact date and time of your birth. This is the most important piece of information you need to know, your exact date and time of birth. So I reply, "Oh, it's that important, is it?" He says, "Yes. Without this information, you will find it very difficult to navigate your way through life, as you will have no compass. Your natal chart is your compass to direct you through life. But most people don't know how to read their personal natal charts. This should be compulsory in your education systems." So I reply, "Wow, is that important?" "Yes, without it, you're like a lost ship at sea, hence why it's called natal chart, referring to the water." What other tools did you provide to help us keep on track in life? Well, in this universe, everything is made up using numbers. Even the number of us all together add up to 1. We are all 1. In numerology, all number sequences are reduced to a single digit, so the number 10 would be reduced to 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. If you start by acquainting yourself with your natal chart and life path number, you will have 2 tools that will steer you in the right direction in life. Remember, you entered the 3rd dimension to remember who you are. It's a game that has opponents, but if you play the game well, you can win in every lifetime. See you in your next incarnation. Get it? Incarnation. You are all using your bodies as vehicles. Steer it in the right direction. Love and light. Goddess I am. So I hope you enjoyed that first message from the goddess. I also wanted to tell you to look out for synchronicities along this path to the goddess, because I guarantee you're going to get synchronicities. And I just want to share one that I received this week. I had to visit a friend in hospital. She was sectioned in a psychiatric ward. And the day that I was going to see her was this full moon in Pisces. And my moon sign is in Pisces. And you know what they say about full moons, that's why they call them lunatics. So I'm thinking, why am I going to this psychiatric ward on a full moon? Anyway, I did. And I had the most amazing experience. As I was sitting talking to my friend, another woman on the ward, a young woman, she must have been about 21, drugged up to her eyeballs, but she was still a seer. Even all them drugs they pumped into her didn't stop her from being a seer. And she said to me, "I don't believe I'm meeting a real life goddess in the flesh of all places." She knelt in front of me and said how honoured she was to be in my presence. She was even looking at my aura and saying how pure it was. And I think that's because I'd had a sea salt bath the night before with some sea salt from Ghana. So, salt purifies the aura. And that's your cue to have regular sea salt baths. So she was a seer. Do you remember I told you that the next pandemic that they're planning, they're calling it seers, SEERS. So expect to get synchronicities along the journey to remind you who you are, that you are goddesses in the flesh. You are physical representations of the goddess. And if you haven't already, Watch my Black History 365 vlog series, channeled from the ancestral mothers with information about who you are as a black woman. And by the way, if you're wondering why I sound like this, it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm lying in bed. Well, I hope you're doing really well on your mind and body detox, being mindful of what goes in your mouth, foods provided by Mother Nature, what goes in through your eyes and your ears as well. And if you have any healthy, tasty recipes, feel free to share them in the Telegram group. So your task for next week is to either watch my Black History 365 vlog series or to take my free Soul Purpose Discovery Challenge. So you'll get your natal chart, you'll find out your life path number, your moon sign, your archetype, and how that relates to the collective consciousness. I'll put the links in the Telegram group. So I'll see you on our next Zoom call. Be prepared to share your feedback from your first week on the path to the goddess. See you there.